Welcome back, everybody. Today's deep dive is going to be pretty interesting, I think, because we're focusing on a single source.
Oh, cool.
It's Lauren London's interview on the JayShettyPodcast.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, you probably know her from her acting.
Yeah, ATL, Without Remorse.
Exactly.
I mean, she was great in those.
Yeah, she was fantastic. But we're going way beyond her on-screen persona.
Yeah.
We're really going to look at her personal journey, where she talks about so candidly and in depth in this interview with Jay Shetty.
I was really surprised by how open she was about some of the things she went through.
Yeah, me too.
It's not your typical celebrity interview.
No, not at all. And today we're going to unpack how she found strength and purpose, even after going through some pretty immense personal tragedy.
Hmm.
And we'll also get into her thoughts on relationships,
Okay.
parenting,
Yeah.
and finding joy in the everyday.
I'm curious to hear about that.
Yeah.
Especially given everything she's been through.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible.
One thing that really stood out to me was how much her early life experiences seemed to have shaped her resilience.
Right.
I mean, she had a really challenging childhood.
Yeah, she talks about abuse and neglect.
It's heartbreaking.
It really is. And she talks about how that difficult period led her to connect with God at a very young age.
It's almost like she needed to find strength from somewhere outside of her immediate circumstances.
Yeah, it's like she was searching for a source of support and protection that wasn't there in her everyday life.
And it sounds like she found it.
Yeah, she talks about hearing God's voice as a young child.
Wow.
And it gave her this sense of comfort and guidance that she desperately needed.
It makes you wonder if that early reliance on faith is what gave her the foundation to face the challenges that came later in her life.
It's definitely possible. I mean, she talks about always having this sense of something bigger than herself, something watching over her, even when things were tough.
It's a powerful reminder that we all have the capacity for resilience, even in the face of adversity.
Absolutely.
Right.
But it wasn't always easy for her, even with that strong faith foundation.
Right.
She's very open about the fact that as a teenager, she sought protection and validation in places that ultimately weren't healthy for her.
It's a common human response, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
When our basic needs aren't met in healthy ways, we often turn to external sources, anything that promises to fill that void.
Exactly.
Relationships, substances, you name it.
She talks about drinking, smoking, skipping school.
Wow.
It's like she was acting out in response to the pain she had internalized.
It's a reminder that even someone like Lauren London, who seems to have it all together, has faced her own struggles.
Absolutely. And her willingness to share those experiences makes her journey all the more relatable.
Yeah, for sure.
And then there's this incredibly vivid dream she describes having at age 19, where she essentially dies and is told that Jesus isn't there for her.
Wow.
It sounds like a major turning point.
What do you think? Was it a moment of fear or something deeper?
Well, she had that strong faith foundation from childhood, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think this dream was more like a jolt.
Okay.
Like it shook her awake to the fact that faith isn't passive.
I see.
It's not about waiting to be rescued.
Right.
It's about actively aligning yourself with a higher purpose.
So it wasn't just about going back to church out of fear.
No.
It was about stepping into a renewed sense of agency in her spiritual life.
Exactly. And that inner strength was truly tested when she faced the tragic loss of Nipsey Hussle.
Yeah, that's where her faith was really put to the test.
Absolutely.
Faced with such profound grief.
You can't even imagine.
I know she was forced to confront her relationship with God on a whole new level.
Right.
And what's so interesting is that she didn't approach it with anger or resentment, but with a deeper questioning of what it means to be protected and guided.
She talks about being forced into a deeper communication with God. Like she had to figure out who she could truly rely on when everything she thought was stable was suddenly ripped away.
That's such a powerful realization, though.
It is.
That when external supports crumble, we're often forced to look inward and examine our own foundations.
Right.
Have you ever experienced something similar?
Oh, yeah.
Where a challenging situation forced you to reassess what truly matters?
Yeah, I think we all have, in a way.
Right.
It's in those moments that we discover what we're truly made of.
And Lauren's experience really highlights how adversity can push us towards deeper introspection and growth.
She talks about how it wasn't about just reading spiritual books anymore.
Yeah.
But about applying what she learned to her actual life.
And in that application, she finds a new understanding of divine protection.
It's not about being shielded from pain or hardship.
Right.
But about having the inner resources to move through those challenges with grace and resilience.
It's like she discovered that true protection comes from within, from nurturing that connection with something larger than herself.
Exactly. So we've seen how faith shaped Lauren's early life and how that foundation was tested when tragedy struck. But now I want to explore how she navigates finding purpose after such a profound loss.
Yeah, let's get into that.
Because that's where things get really interesting.
One thing that really struck me was how Lauren's priorities seemed to shift after everything she went through.
Yeah.
It's like the things that used to matter so much, external validation,
Right.
material possessions,
Yeah.
they just don't hold the same weight anymore.
She even mentions in the rapid-fire questions at the end
Oh, yeah.
that clothes are something she no longer values as much.
That's interesting.
That's kind of surprising given her partnership with Puma.
Right on a fashion line.
Yeah,
But I think it speaks to a deeper truth.
I think so too.
When we've faced real hardship and loss,
Yeah.
the superficial markers of success can seem to fade in importance.
Totally.
What about you? Has anything in your life similarly shifted in value over time?
That's a really good question.
Yeah.
Let me think about that for a second.
Sure.
Yeah. I have an example, but I'm going to save that for later.
Okay, no worries.
Let's get back to Lauren.
Okay.
It's like she's discovered a whole new definition of what it means to be rich.
Okay, how so?
It's not about your bank account or designer labels. It's about the depth of your relationships, the love you share, and the positive impact you have on the world.
That's beautiful.
Isn't it?
And I think it's something a lot of us can relate to.
Yeah.
That yearning for something more meaningful,
Right.
even if we haven't experienced the same level of tragedy as Lauren.
For sure. Okay, so let's talk about relationships.
Okay.
Lauren doesn't go into a ton of detail about her current romantic life.
Right.
But she does offer some really insightful reflections on her partnership with Nipsey Hussle.
Yeah, what stood out to me was her emphasis on their shared spiritual connection.
Me too.
She describes them both as avid readers,
Mhm.
and when they moved in together and combined their book collections,
Yeah.
it was really a reflection of their individual and shared interests.
It's amazing.
It is.
She mentions that Nipsey was more of a spiritual intellectual.
Yeah.
Well, she was more spiritual emotional.
I thought that was an interesting distinction.
It really is.
It shows that even within a partnership,
Yeah.
there's room for individual growth and different ways of connecting to something larger than yourself.
Absolutely. And it sounds like their shared faith wasn't just about personal fulfillment.
Right.
It was about finding ways to serve their community.
She emphasizes that they were always discussing how their union could contribute to something bigger than themselves.
That's so inspiring.
It really is.
It wasn't just about their own happiness or success.
Right.
It was about making a positive impact on the world around them.
It's a reminder that relationships can be a powerful force for good,
Absolutely.
not just within the couple,
Yeah.
but also in the wider community.
Makes you think about how you can nurture your own relationships to create that kind of positive change.
For sure, it's not something that just happens naturally, though.
No.
Lauren makes it clear that they were intentional about setting goals and creating a shared vision for their contributions.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
It's a good lesson for anyone in a relationship or aspiring to be in one.
Yeah. What are the shared values you want to build your life around?
Right.
How can your connection serve as a catalyst for positive change in the world?
Those are really important questions to consider. And it's worth noting that Lauren acknowledges that their relationship wasn't perfect.
Yeah, of course not.
They had challenges, disagreements,
Uh-huh.
all the normal things that come with being human.
Exactly. But even in those difficult moments, they seem to have come back to that shared foundation of faith and service.
Totally. Those core values were like a compass,
Yeah.
guiding them back to each other and to their shared purpose.
That's a beautiful way to put it. It's a reminder that relationships require work communication and a willingness to keep evolving together.
Absolutely.
And-
Okay, so speaking of evolving, let's move on to Lauren's insights on motherhood.
Okay.
She clearly adores her sons, Cameron and Cross, and puts a lot of thought into the lessons she's trying to impart.
What I find interesting is how she's learning just as much from them as she's teaching them.
Yeah, she talks about Cameron having this incredible capacity for vulnerability and compassion, which is something she admits she struggled with at his age.
It's like she recognizes that each generation brings a different set of strengths and ways of being in the world,
Right.
and she's open to learning from that.
And then she describes Cross as having this fearless energy,
Ooh,
this natural ability to just be himself.
It's beautiful how she celebrates their individuality
Yeah.
and encourages them to embrace their unique gifts.
She's definitely instilling some strong values in them.
What kind of value?
Honesty, integrity, self-acceptance. the essential building blocks for strong character.
Those are so important.
They really are. And I love how she talks about teaching them about karma. Not in a punitive way,
Right.
but as a reminder that our actions have consequences.
Yeah.
And it's always in our best interest to choose kindness and compassion.
It's like she's equipping them with the tools to navigate life's challenges with integrity and a sense of responsibility for their choices.
Exactly. It's not about giving them a set of rules to follow.
Right.
It's about empowering them to make their own choices
Yeah.
based on a strong moral compass.
It's about raising conscious, compassionate human beings who will make a positive impact on the world.
And you can tell that Lauren is leading by example.
Yeah, she's not just talking the talk.
Right.
She's walking the walk. Her life is a testament to the power of resilience, faith, and service.
She's living proof that it's possible to overcome incredible adversity and emerge even stronger, more compassionate, and more committed to making a difference.
And she does it all with such grace and humility.
It's true.
She's not afraid to be vulnerable, to share her struggles, and to admit that she's still learning and growing.
And that's what makes her so relatable and inspiring.
Right. She's not an untouchable celebrity on a pedestal. She's a real woman who has faced real challenges and come out on the other side with a renewed sense of purpose and a deep commitment to living a meaningful life.
And she's a reminder that we all have the potential to do the same.
Absolutely. No matter what we've been through, no matter how lost or broken we may feel, there's always hope for healing, growth, and transformation.
And sometimes the most profound transformations happen when we shift our focus outward, when we reach out to others and offer our support, our compassion, and our willingness to simply listen and hold space for their pain.
That's something to think about. How can you be more present for the people in your life?
That's a powerful question. And on that note, I think we should pause here for now.
Okay, sounds good.
And we'll pick up the rest of this incredible conversation in our final installment.
Okay, looking forward to it.
We'll delve deeper into Lauren's reflections on finding joy, overcoming comparison, and embracing the spirit of abundance.
That'll be great. It's incredible how Lauren finds joy even amidst such profound loss, isn't it?
It really is. She talked about finding pleasure in those everyday moments. You know, watching her sons play, the feeling of fresh sheets, listening to music with friends.
Yeah.
It's like she's consciously choosing to savor those simple things life offers.
It's a good reminder for all of us, I think.
Yeah?
Sometimes we get so caught up in the hustle and bustle
Right.
that we forget to appreciate the beauty and joy that's right there in the ordinary.
Totally. And for Lauren, it's not about denying the pain or pretending everything's perfect.
Right.
It's about acknowledging the challenges,
Yeah.
but choosing to find those pockets of joy,
Embracing the full spectrum of human experience.
Exactly.
And recognizing that joy is a choice.
Yeah.
It's not something that just happens to us.
Right.
That's something we cultivate.
Through our thoughts, actions,
Yeah.
where we focus our attention.
Exactly.
Lauren seems to be actively creating space for joy in her life,
In what ways?
spending time with her sons,
Okay.
being creative.
Or just enjoying a peaceful moment,
It's a good reminder that joy doesn't have to be this grand, elusive thing.
No, it can be found in those everyday moments if we're open to it.
Absolutely. And it's something we can all cultivate,
Right.
regardless of our circumstances.
It starts with that conscious choice to notice the good, appreciate the small things.
What's one small thing that brought you joy recently?
Oh, gosh. Well, this morning, actually, I was walking my dog, and the sunrise was just incredible.
Nice.
And I just stopped for a minute to really take it in,
Good.
It was a small moment, but it really filled me with a sense of peace and gratitude.
beautiful.
But okay, enough about me.
Yeah.
Let's get back to Lauren.
Okay.
She also talks about letting go of things that drain our energy and steal our joy.
Like what?
Comparison and competition.
Especially in an industry that can be so cutthroat.
Exactly. But she chooses to celebrate everyone's wins.
That's awesome.
It is, especially those of other women.
It's like she operates from a place of abundance, believing there's enough success to go around for everyone.
It's that shift from a scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset,
It's a powerful shift.
It really is.
Believing that there's enough for everyone to thrive,
Right.
and we can all rise together.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Lauren London's journey, what are some key takeaways we can apply to our own lives?
I think she reminds us that true strength comes from within,
Yeah.
It's about cultivating that deep connection to ourselves
To our values, to something bigger than ourselves.
and to find joy in the simple things, appreciate those everyday moments that make up a life,
She challenges us to embrace a mindset of abundance
to celebrate others' successes and believe that there's enough for everyone to thrive,
and to find purpose in serving others.
using our experiences to uplift and empower those around us.
It's a powerful message of resilience, hope, and transformation.
No matter what challenges we face, we always have the power to choose love, joy, and service.
Lauren left us with a thought-provoking question during her interview.
Yeah, what was it?
She asked about finding ways to transmute our pain into purpose.
Hmm.
So we'll leave you with that same question. What small act of service could you engage in this week?
To transform your own challenges into something meaningful.
It doesn't have to be anything grand or complicated.
Right.
Just a small gesture of kindness, compassion, or support.
That's all it takes sometimes.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll see you next time.